BattleChat.
We're recording, yes. Okay, hello, and welcome to the second ever episode of BattleChat. I'm with my co-host as ever, Danny. Danny, what's up?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Yo, man. Second, yeah.
Second episode. This is tense. This is tense for everyone.
A lot of good reactions so far. A lot of people have listened. A lot of people enjoying it. A lot of people. One of the complaints of last episode was that I actually foolishly didn't introduce myself. I introduced you. You're obviously the most important part of the show. But I myself was disregarded, so I'll just quickly say that hello. My name is Tom, and I'm a huge battle rap fan, as Danny is. We kind of had the same trajectory, I suppose, getting into it. I think it was just the start of 2011. A guy that I lived with put on he just said to me, "Oh, have you seen that video of the school teacher battling his student?" Which obviously, you know the video I'm talking about, obviously.
Oh yeah, of course.
Of course you do. But like, obviously, it was kind of like it isn't that, but it's kind of that's what everyone thinks it is. So that's why it's kind of. I think it's the most watched video on Don't Flop's channel. I think it's the only one they've got that's got like over 3 million, maybe even 4 million. Like,
yeah,
it's kind of because I think it was on like RuTube and stuff as well, and like it kind of it was.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
No way.
And there was like a sort of, I remember there was a Channel 4 thing about Mark Grist. There was a little thing they did, and that's on YouTube, and like they kind of blew up over it. Really, it's pretty fucking awesome that it got so big. And like, I don't know about you, but like, it felt like that Mark Grist Blizzard battle was like, it looked way better than a lot of the other battles. Just the venue was really cool where they had it.
The venue was pretty decent.
Yeah,
it looked it's just the angle. I think they got the angle really good. Like everyone was just standing behind them both, and like they were both just in both in the frame. It was just really well. It was just they had it down. It was just really well shot.
Yeah, and I think like visually having this 30-year-old guy in the suit and then this little Blizzard kid with his hat on and shit, and Blizzard's kind of playing up the character of being an asshole. He's like, in school I was a terror and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it really does stand alone outside of the context of just the battle rap subculture.
Yeah,
I think you can't just watch it. It's just one of those videos like the you can just flick through just YouTube or just videos that you just like to see that you want to laugh at or whatever.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the problems with battle rap as a whole. I feel not a problem, but like a stumbling block for new entries, for people getting into it, is the context. Don't Flop isn't as bad as URL for this, but there are like references to other things, and also if you just don't know the battler, sometimes you won't enjoy the battle as much. You kind of need to know them better, But I agree. I think the Mark Grist Blizzard one is like hermetically sealed away from all of Don't Flop. It's like this perfect like entry. I think because Mark Grist as well, like
people love the idea of it, and Chris has sort of gone into this. That this is what people essentially saw was a teacher just putting down a little kid.
Yeah,
The kid who was, who appeared quite, outspoken.
Yes.
And it came, and people, just like to see Mark Grist win because, and seeing in contrast the way that Mark Grist in his suit, Blizzard's in his t-shirt and his whatever.
Yeah.
People enjoy that.
Yeah, exactly. And I think there's the visual thing. There's the sort of just the way they write. There's the way they behave on stage. Mark Grist works the camera. I mean, we'll talk about this, but I mean, what would you rather do? A Mark Grist episode or a Blizzard episode? Obviously, you'll probably do both, but
probably a Mark Grist first.
Yeah,
I'd say.
Yeah, he's had some really. I mean, him versus Orcs is excellent. He kind of stumbled against Definition a little bit, but that's still a pretty funny battle.
Yeah, he did this. Yeah, he did, especially to like the second and third round. He really started to slip.
Yeah. I remember that was one of my first real introduction to Definition, actually. Who I really still can't make up my mind about that guy. Like, he is funny as hell, and like he's kind of a good rapper. But I remember hating him against Tony D. I really didn't enjoy his performance in that at all. I felt that.
So So go on.
No, you go on, man.
Well, I felt like, yeah, as soon as I saw it, I was like, really, you've got definition for this. So like, and it felt a bit soon as well. Like, well, yeah,
soon
it
from
was
what?
just,
What do you
it
mean?
felt a bit just soon after O'Shea, basically.
Yeah, it was a come down for
I felt
O'Shea,
the time.
wasn't it? Fucking hell. It was a real sort of. Remember that huge, you know, it was like, oh, remember when Tony D, and it was like, oh, and Tony D has definition now. No, I think definition deserved it because he'd been battling for a long time and stuff like that. And he called, he says it in the Mark Grist battle, doesn't he? He turns to and he's talking about his title shot and shit. And I think it's deserved. It's the same reason Chris Leese is getting a title shot. It's deserved. But I think, is it a great match? Is it a match you would have seen if Tony D wasn't champion and definition didn't deserve it? Would that match just have happened? No.
Probably not. No.
And it's the perfect epitome of jokes versus bars, really. You know, I can't think of any other battle that more embodies it than Tony D definition. But we get off point. It was the Blizzard Mark Grist battle was the first one. Luna C Matter and Eddie P Frisco, blah blah blah, what everyone listens to. And then I followed Matter to Soul versus Matter, which I will say is the best Don't Flop battle. I know it's a huge.
That is quite a thing to say.
It's a massive claim.
I immediately, like, if you think that is the best, like, I believe you.
Yeah.
I believe you. Like, I have no reason to argue against that. It's that superb battle.
Yeah. I think it kind of has everything, really. Like, we were talking about how Tony D and Definition had the different embodiments. Like, this has the best name flips of any battle I've ever seen. I mean, Soul and Matter are great names to flip, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think Matter has some real good breakdown stuff on Soul. Soul has some incredibly intelligent, really dense, powerful stuff that hits as well. Like, the problem with Soul a lot of the time, it sort of goes over heads, but he seems to perfectly pace every punch in this battle. They just, you know, I'm thinking of his stuff about the Darwin and the evolution, his Pink Floyd stuff.
His Pink Floyd stuff is great.
Yeah.
And his antimatter bar.
The
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? It's that little pause that he does. Say, your antimatter, and then he pauses for like a second, and then he says it, and then he says the definition. It's like, just unfolded perfectly.
Yeah. And we've mentioned before, you know when Chronicle works out the line.
I know, yeah. I told you about that, and you didn't believe me, and then you went back and saw it, and you're like, shit, he does it.
Yeah, and that's got something that you don't see in newer Don't Flop battles, probably just because it's bigger venues and stuff. I love just seeing cracking up in the background. Like, he's really good to watch. He really is.
He always really enjoys it.
Yeah. He out of him, Organic, and like Smack's always fucking monged out and shit. And
Smack is in like the background like a vulture, like with his beard and his glasses, and every now and then he'll just make a noise to like
beard. Yeah.
So the audience knows he's awake.
And I mean, well, Organic's great. I mean, obviously, I've just been binging on King of the Dot for BULLETZ that we're going to discuss later, and Organic's great as well. But I think Er's great in that, and I think it's just a real, and it's a real good. The Soul Matter battle. One of the reasons why it's so good is it's so even. Like, I do.
It is, yeah. I was about to say that.
Soul, but it's preference, really. At the end of the day,
it is, yeah. No, but even if it is preference, like, both of them are so close. Just like material, it's everything. It's almost even in like it just and you're never quite sure who you think won. You'll have an opinion, and then it will just go, and then you'll think, and you'll go back to debating it with yourself.
And it's like at the end of the battle, you've probably noticed this, but Matter, when they shake hands after, Matter says to Soul, like, that was a battle, mate. And like, it really is a sort of battler's battle. It has everything, performance, writing, the crowd are so into it as well, and it's got this kind of almost smart kid Soul versus, obviously Matter's very intelligent as well, he's writing, but he comes across a bit more laddish, a bit more Larry perhaps, less of a pen guy, less about his pen game and shit. And I love Soul's hoodie. You know, it's that like Space Invader hoodie and shit.
Yeah,
It just sort of adds to it. It's like,
dude,
yeah,
sort of
like
associate the
retro
video
games,
with
like-
that hoodie.
Yeah, you just wear that hoodie loads. Seems to have ditched it now, but yeah. So that's a fucking great battle. And as we were just discussing beforehand, just before we started recording, I've managed to get someone else into battle rap, and a good friend of ours that we were in a band with a few years ago, who I now live quite near. And I used the same tactics as we both had. I used the Mark Chris Blizzard, I used the Lunacy, Eddie P thing, I used all that. And he wanted more, you know. I was going to
Lunacy Fly Trap.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Fly Tipper, isn't it? Is that
Fly
his?
yeah, the fly. Yes. Yeah,
Is that his thing?
Fly Tipper, yeah.
Or Boished, or you know, all
It is boished.
all that sort of stuff he does that I don't know seems to
Oi,
be focusing on people rather than actually taking off. But so yeah, and Jake, the friend of ours, Jacob, he was just really into it and watched more and more. I showed him a battle that we're going to discuss later, 100 Bullets versus Bamalam, and we're just going to discuss something briefly there. You haven't heard this yet, Danny, but Jacob texts me and texts me a little sort of, not scheme, but a sort of rap bar that he'd written, and he said this was his first one that he was proud of, basically, and it's Breaking Bad themed. So here we go. I'm going to break this down. This isn't very
Right,
bad.
okay. You ready for this, listeners?
You ready for this? This is what he sent me. See, you're like Saul Goodman with your metaphors and many whores, but not me, man. It's all good, man. So, yeah. There isn't really
That's it. Yeah. No, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, I mean, okay. It's all good, man. It's all good, man. It's probably what Vince Gilligan kind of intended.
Oh, it was. Of course, it was.
Oh yeah, no, it definitely was. I'm trying to be kind to Jacob.
No, it is. No, I'm not saying it's bad. It isn't bad. For a first go, it's very,
I quite
very
like
good.
the metaphors and many whores. You know, it's not bad. There's nothing bad here.
No, it's not bad at all.
We'll keep you updated on Jacob's further schemes, but that brings us nicely into a segment that we're going to bring into the show next week. We'll start it this week with a teaser. Me and Danny are obsessed with schemes. One of the reasons we picked 100 Bullets for today's episode is that very reason. And as a result of that, we're going to do a sort of scheme of the week thing. And the idea will be that we'll set a topic to scheme about that probably would never be chosen to scheme about in a battle. For instance, this week we're going to pick pizzas. So you can do a scheme about pizza, Danny, and I will also write a scheme about pizza. Not too long, maybe 10, 20 seconds, just whatever you feel's good. And we'll both read them out live on air next week. And hopefully people will eventually email in and tweet in and stuff and ask us to scheme about different
That's the overall goal from this, really. Like, we'd like people to email in like what they think, like what schemes they want us to do.
Yeah, exactly. And completely willing to do, you know, any. I mean, so, some of the ones we've written between us, we have sort of like, I did one about guitar chords, one about ancient Egypt, you know, sort of just stuff that you wouldn't really think would come up in a battle. So yeah.
I've done ones about car brands. Interestingly enough, I've done ones that
kind of ripping that off Chiller, but that's cool.
I'm a fuck.
Well, okay, he kind of does brands. He does more parts of cars.
Yeah, no, he does. That's why I think I can. You know, it's a valid scheme in its own right.
And there's also so many sort of car brands as well. It's kind of not too bad, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know, but
and I've done one about fish. In fact, I'm still doing.
Oh yeah. The I love that one. That one. You've kind of been working on that for too long now.
I have. Yeah, no, it's not as though I've been working on it the whole time.
No, of course. No.
I keep leaving it and then coming back to it like, shit, I've got to write this fucking thing.
What you've got so far is really strong. Really strong. I really
It's the
like that.
context, really. It's yeah.
Yeah.
It's the whole like I think the context should kind of be about money because it seems to it seems to fit now. It seems to
Yeah, no. I think what you're saying is true about context because that's kind of one of the opinions that I've got about bullets. So do you want to just get into the bullets thing?
Yeah. So by the way, seeing as just one more thing before we launch into the bullets. There's a guy in my uni actually who's been watching Don't Flop, and he says, and actually there's a guy that I've met in Planet, which is a club in Wolverhampton. Thursdays, and he's a Don't Flop head, and he says but he's like, he says his favorite battle is Marcus versus Blizzard, and when I hear that kind of shit, like, I just think, have you watched any more though? Do you know what I mean? Like, he's your favorite one. Marcus is your favorite rapper.
Yeah, it's the whole sort of. I'm trying to think of how to put this into your terminology. It's the whole favorite Slipknot songs duality. If you get what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, it is definitely that. Yeah,
you know, and I don't like if it legitimately is his favorite battle, then I can't.
I need to hear like other battles.
Yeah, I need to just say like, oh, but I also really fucking dig when Caustic battled Jefferson. You know, that's quite, or you know what I mean. Or
I need you to say why you don't like other battlers. Like, I don't like Unanimous. I think he's too angry. I don't like fucking.
Why haven't you probed him?
I have probed. Well, he was like the one guy that at Planet. He was quite pissed. So I just like I'm not going to take this. I'm not going to entertain this conversation. Yeah, and the other guy at my uni.
Yeah.
I can let that one him slide though because he's sort of very young with this. You know, he's still like just like it's taking the leap to discover
it's on
the
you,
battles.
man. It's on you to send him some battles, send him some links, get him into it.
Although he has seen he's seen like Shuffle T versus Soweto Kinch. He's seen Unanimous versus Villain.
Well. Yeah, it's not about snobbery. It's not about you haven't seen this, you haven't seen that. It's just if your favorite battle is Marcus versus Blizzard, I'm just going to be a little bit suspicious.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, we need to stress that it's not about superiority. So it's obviously there's hundreds of battles we haven't seen, but it's just if you are saying that's your favorite, it just rouses a little bit of suspicion. But
it does. It's a very common battle to love basically, and I need to like say, I need you to like give me some more info here.
And there's kind of Mark Grace, Blizzard, Lunacy. They're the kind of three names that are the sort of if there was a Don't Flop festival, they would headline purely on popularity's sake. If you get what I'm saying.
If there was a festival going on, like they would headline, or they'd either like or they'd either like support, just under the headline.
Yeah, if there were Don't Flop action figures, they would definitely be in Series 1. You know what I mean? Like. Like in like fucking Forbidden Planet and shit, so it was really cool, like £20 sculpted figures and shit. Like, you definitely aren't going to get a Ricky Riley, or you definitely aren't going to get a fucking Jay Smug or some shit. You know what I mean? You're going to get your
doing a C action figure, man. Like it's like you press. He has like a little red button on his side, and you press him, and he goes boom.
Yeah.
Or what would Mark Grace do? What would be his like noise that he makes?
He doesn't really have any sort of defining.
No, he doesn't, does
he? Yeah, he would be in suit though, definitely.
Of course, yeah, absolutely, of course, he'd be in suit.
Yeah, or Yunnan with monstrosity action and shit, or it's just
he'd say I'm a monstrosity, and he'd be like,
I'm a monster in this city.
Oh dear. Yeah, JC would be like, you'd press a button on like JC's back, and he'd be like, "You just lost the battle.
You just lost one of my parts."
Yeah, you just lost the battery.
Yeah, you just lost the battery. I love that JC thing, by the way. Like, I love it more and more. I think it's kind of. It always gets a good reaction as well. Everyone's like, like that.
You just lost the battle, man.
You just lost the battle. Yeah, I really like that. I really, really like that. So, weirdly, the next 100 Bullets video to be released, which is going to be from whatever the big KOTD, the world domination thing.
Yeah.
Is 100 Bullets versus JC.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That should be good. Yeah, then why not? I reckon it'll be a good battle. It's just we've kind of seen that, I guess, like with Chiller.
Okay, yeah. So Bullets, right? I said to you before that I was going to have a controversial opinion, and I've spent the last 2 days watching loads of Bullets. I downloaded onto my phone all of BULLETZ rounds so far, which is a little dated as a video. It's like an hour and a bit, so it doesn't have like the Arcane or Dirtbag Dan. So I've watched those. I've watched most of the shit.
You made it portable. You've been carrying bullets.
Yeah, exactly. I've been loaded.
You've been packing heat, man.
I've been Caribbean, etc. Listen to them loads on today and stuff. And here's my opinion. I love BULLETZ, but in the same way that The Wire is like my favorite show, my favorite drama ever, and that any other dramas that I like just don't kind of get as close, in my opinion. Like, there's obviously Breaking Bad, Sopranos are absolutely unbelievable, but I don't class them as well. I don't class BULLETZ in the same bracket as DNA and Chiller for me. I found certain affectations of his not as good as I once remembered. He's no longer in my top 3, I would say, even though he's great.
Wow.
I know.
It's interesting you should say that, because I've been watching some of his battles, and there's some things that, like, I've noticed that he tends to do in, like, angles that reoccurring angles that he takes. Like, one, he'll like list all of the person's losses, all of the people that, like,
a lot of people do that.
But he always does it in like a, counts it on his fingers sort of thing. Yeah. And he'll do, and he'll as he's rhyming.
And he's like, he does that against, I think he does that against Poe Rich. He's like, Bartone barded you. No, slow it down. Just thought I'd remind you.
Yeah.
Quite like that.
He does it. Yeah, he does it to Kid Twist as well, and he does it to
I like that though, when he's talking about the locker room and everyone changing around you.
Yeah, that's good, because he tops it off with that like really cool bar.
Yeah.
Whereas he does it back down as well.
Well, I mean, okay, right. So with all this, the reason I said that was like with all that 100 Bullets sort of chronology. I was watching it. It's great, that video, because you can see him from like the tryouts in King of the Ground Zero stuff, where he's facing like absolutely shitty Canadian wannabes, like really bad rappers, and he's still bringing his all. He's still coming really strong. But one of the angles that he keeps doing, which I don't know why it bothers me, but he does the gay angle so much. Like, more in his earlier battles, but literally every battle he'll do a verse about why they're gay, and it's like, I don't know, it just seems silly and childish and like just a bit kind of, I don't know, not as kind of engaging as I thought. But like, and also, if you watch a lot of his older battles, he's not really the scheme guy as much. Like, he only really starts scheming when he gets to the Grand Prix. I'd say, like, when he does Sharon and Kid Twist and people like that. His earlier battles,
it's very kind of just really, it's just bars, really, isn't it? Just bars with like little bits of wordplay.
A sort of trade-off between sort of just smart rhyming and then going into other stuff. And then he has sort of, I don't know, like the very, very, very like multi stuff, and like he just kind of building on words and building on rhymes, and he just doesn't have, he seems to be in the fucking Ground Zero loads and loads and loads. But one of the battles that I did, by the way, the Kid Twist is probably his best performance, and I think the reason for that is with schemes, as we've discussed several times before, scheme on itself, i.e. I'm doing a scheme about television shows or whatever. Okay, that's great. You have a line and you have a list basically, and you're kind of Dirtbag Dan says it quite well in the battle. It's working back from a punchline, which I think is quite true, and like the kind of isn't a surprise as much. You have to finish it off with the great line.
Yeah, with the context, you either have to like make the scheme part of the context, or just say this is why I'm doing this scheme right at the end, like with a big punch, and then it'll
and BULLETZ did that 3 times by my count in the battles that I watched against JVL. He does a scheme about fizzy drinks, and then he says that's how you do pop references, which I thought was really nice.
That's great.
Against Sharon, he does a like almost Olympic scheme, and then he goes, "I'm showing you how to play the race card," which I thought was really nice as well. And
that's
then
cool.
obviously against Kid Twist, he goes, if you listen closely, that's all
kid shows.
Yeah, which is delightful. And then like say Chiller does that as well with the bird. Just hit you with some pro bars. Yeah.
Oh, that's superb.
Yeah, that's so like, I mean, what do you think about schemes in general? I mean, obviously you're a fan. We know you're a fan, but why?
Why? Why must it? Because they have a rewatchable value to them.
Yeah.
Like, even if the person, some people just sort of abandon a battle after, they found out who's won. Not all people, but some people will do that. But schemes sort of, they make it really, they'll have this really entertaining quality to them, and you'll just want to watch. You'll go to certain rounds, or go to or watch the whole of all of their rounds. Maybe just skip the winner, just because you want to hear the schemes. And it's this really great sort of quality to it, basically.
Yeah, and when you're going, I feel Chiller. In comparison, we've got to compare him to BULLETZ, because obviously they're both very similar in their writing styles.
A lot of people want them to battle. There's a lot of tension about the people really want that shit.
I interviewed Chiller, didn't I? Kind of last week.
Yeah.
I didn't interview him, but I tweeted him, and I asked him would you face BULLETZ if? No, first of all, I said, are you going to come to UK in 2014? And he was like, yeah, definitely. And then, he said yes. Well, I mean, he still replied.
Yeah, no.
And I said to him, would you want to face BULLETZ overseas here, or would you want to face someone UK? And he said that he wanted or Shotty or something. So, fair enough, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, you got to compare them. I think Chiller buries his lines a bit better, which makes schemes a bit more satisfying, because you got to kind of listen to them and work them out. BULLETZ is very much I'm doing a scheme about this. Here's a reference. Here's a reference. Here's a reference. Here's a reference.
Chiller's what's great about Chiller is these whole rounds are just wordplay, and they're not necessarily schemes. It's just different types of wordplay, all in the same things, and it's just all one thing. This is all wordplay.
Yeah, great. Yeah, exactly. And I agree with what you're saying about schemes making the rewatch value more, because you do try and ferret out those lines, and also and BULLETZ isn't just schemes. Going back to the Kid Twist battle, when he talks about when iPhone 4Gs, you'll need Siri's help, which was really good. And he spoke about you FedEx service mail packages overnight, which was later revealed, I think, to be another line. I can't remember who spat that line, but it's still a really, really good line nonetheless. But with BULLETZ, I mean, what do you think about his... one of the things that I do like about him is I really like his demeanour, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
he has such a different feel to any other battler.
He has this really sharp way of getting his lines out.
And he feels quite adult, you know what I mean? He feels quite mature as a person.
Yeah,
He's a bit older than a lot of the people he's battling, and he started quite old. I think on that first Ground Zero battle, he's 29, you know what I mean? Rather than young late teens that most of these battlers seem to start in, which is quite interesting. But he just brings a certain level of sort of adulthood to it, and his schemes as well. He sort of attacks, but he can attack. I mean, did you see the Dirtbag Dan battle?
Yeah, there's good battle. Dirtbag Dan really had some really good bars in that battle. He really came for him, and he really zeroed in on why he's really undermined his basic strategies. Yeah, battling all of his schemes, all of his all of his multis.
I mean, BULLETZ had a line that sort of made me I don't know, I was a bit wow, yeah, okay, because he was talking about how something like Dirtbag Dan tried to do a Kickstarter for his album, and he's you try and kickstart your wedding ring. If your girl gets pregnant, I'll try and kickstart a pregnancy. And I don't know, it was kind of a bit vicious, And,
you can do it. Yeah, you can do that. He can have some really dark bars.
And I think that's one of his strengths. I think he's more believable in that role than Chiller. I think Chiller's not really threatening, if you know what I mean.
No, he isn't.
But he lives it with enough conviction for it not to be a big deal. But
Chiller doesn't really go for that sort of demeanour, I don't think.
No, you couldn't imagine Chiller threatening a womb, he just...
Actually, no, but what we on about, he does though. He does say I'm going to go to your house and shoot you.
Yeah, plug some holes in his tap. Yeah. I
He
guess.
sent her to heaven so she can meet the parents. Yes, you should have been still.
Yeah.
That's-
Yeah, I remember
Bitch moved.
I remember seeing that line very early on. I can remember being at uni and watching the Best of Chiller video, and that line came up. And I remember telling one of my friends that night that line, like just telling him this one line, just being like, "Oh," but yeah. And BULLETZ also in the Dirtbag Dan battle had. I don't know if you would have caught it actually. I don't know if you're a big fan of the Wu-Tang Clan, but he did a Wu-Tang Clan scheme. Obviously, there are 9 members. There's kind of some auxiliary members. And I, before the battle, had thought about doing some sort of Wu-Tang scheme, but I'd struggled to really sort of push it forward. But he absolutely nails it. You know, for instance, one of the Wu-Tang people's called Master Killer, and he's like, your mom drinks mass tequila. There's a guy called Raekwon. He's like, Lawns, your father used to Raekwon. You know?
Yeah, I caught that.
Yeah,
it's in like 3rd round, I think.
Yeah. And then he's like, your dad, he's just a meth head, man. As in,
Yeah,
you know,
people love that.
Yeah.
Including myself.
There was some like he was like, there is a jizzer on her ghost face, which I was kind of like, it's like that works. And like RZA, Jizza, and Ghostface are woo rappers, but sometimes with, like, for instance, when BULLETZ against Thesaurus,
The Pokemon scheme.
yeah,
It's,
lame.
but I have to say, out of all the he did the Pokemon scheme, like he got the best out of it. Basically, the amount of people, like the amount of low tier rappers I've seen, like do a Pokemon scheme and they love it. I think it's brilliant, and and all the judges are like, "That was shit. Can we just grow up and stop doing Pokemon bars?"
Yeah.
But he still brought like a very good. It's just good.
He had
It's just
some,
a really
he had
good
some
scheme.
spin on it, definitely. But I just feel that, like, I don't know why that has to be. Like, it made me feel that there are very few, as I was kind of saying with this scheme competition, there are very few things you can't scheme about. For instance, in the Dirtbag Dan battle, BULLETZ does a scheme about Mexico, you know, all about Dirtbag Dan's heritage and shit, which is kind of like, okay, this is kind of cool, like about a country and its culture. I haven't really seen this before. But yeah, leave Pokemon alone. Like, it's just, you know, I mean, that Thesaurus battle, it's good. I don't know why it's not great, though.
Yeah, I don't. It's
Part of it is just Thesaurus sweating loads. Like, you
I didn't
can't
notice
know how hot it is, like, constantly.
I liked his two reverses that he did, and he's like, you know, you smoke weed, reverse that, we'd smoke you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Those are very good, and they were quite quick as well. So it's very like, you know, you get it all at once, and it's very good.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good battle. It was a good battle. I mean, I love. That's what BULLETZ can do really, really well, and we see it in the Bamalan battle, the reverse punchline.
Yeah, you can do them. He's probably the best, I'd say.
Yeah.
Out of that, I've seen others on URL do it, and they're not as good as BULLETZ. BULLETZ, like, it just really, really. It's almost like he's dragging that bar and going backwards with it.
Yeah, there's some physicality.
Just,
Yeah, there is. I totally agree. That's really true. Yeah, and he sort of pulls you. I think the thing about doing complex wordplay like BULLETZ does is you not only have to be really, really good at doing it, you also have to be good at presenting it. Because if you don't present that line just right, it'll go over too many heads and feel weak.
Absolutely, you have to do that.
You have to connect, and he says this to Dirtbag Dan. He talks about light rounds go over heads like halos, which I thought was really sweet line, really good, and it's really true as well. And I think that often someone like BULLETZ or Chiller, you're at a disadvantage to an immediate crowd. You're more playing to the, you know, BULLETZ talks about the YouTube rewinds and stuff. He acknowledges it publicly that perhaps his style of battling is more accustomed to domestic watching. That's kind of why I feel that BULLETZ did the football scheme against Bamalam, you know, as if wink wink sort of thing. Here's things you're gonna understand. Like, there are some sick lines in that. There are the kill young nanny and her son, you better check yourself, etc. There are also some terrible lines in that. Like, people rave about the football scheme. You know, I don't know if you're aware, there's a footballer called Kaká who plays for Real Madrid, but he's like, your bars are Kaká. It's like, oh, you don't need this line. Like,
Yeah, it's got some great ones though. Where he starts it off with the rock band scheme, and then he goes on to Samuel Jackson. I didn't see that one coming. That's quite weird.
Everyone on the radio head. Yeah. Yeah, there is a real spread. Yeah, the Samuel Jackson scheme, and the problem is,
it's good. It's a great scheme. It's really well put together, but it's just very out of the blue.
You kind of see Black Snake Moan coming as the final.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You know,
Pulp Fiction definitely as well.
Yeah,
I kind of saw Unbreakable coming. I don't know if you felt the same.
Yes, I did. But he does a few movies where I'm like, oh, okay, that could be a Samuel L. Jackson movie. Like, Samuel L. Jackson's one of those actors that he does a lot of movies. Even though he's in the Avengers and Star Wars, he just does a lot of straight-to-DVD crap, you know?
Oh, he does, yeah.
So, you know, if anyone's interested, check out a movie called The Fury, which came out last year, I think. It has one of the worst trailers ever in the sense that it tells you the entire story, including the twist in the trailer. So it's just, I don't really know why you'd watch that. Twist is, he's betrayed by his old friend who didn't look trustworthy to begin with, so sorry to spoil that for you. But, yeah, and what do you think about Bulletz's choke in the Bamalam? Is that a big deal to you?
Oh, no, not particularly, no, not at all. But I have to admit, it was a bad choke. Like, he really, just lost his... He really just and it was such a shame because he's doing so well. He had all his rounds were just really well crafted, really well put together, and you could tell actually, he wanted to win that. He wanted to win that, and after the battle, he was having the interview, and he just looked sort of sulking.
Yeah.
He's really oh.
Well, I mean, he certainly presented himself very well, and it's not like he would have damaged any. You know what I mean? No one would have thought any less of him, but. Yeah, Bamalam came strong as well. Bamalam kind of pissed me off when, BULLETZ said something to him when he was stumbling, and Bamalam's like, I don't really care, or I don't care to be honest, or something like that. Do you remember that?
Yeah, it's like, oh, have some fucking respect. don't say that shit. Thesaurus does it as well, actually. It annoys me on the Thesaurus battle when, he's doing his grime scheme, and Thesaurus just keeps saying, I don't get it.
Yeah.
He says it 4 times.
Yeah.
And he says it 4 times while he's saying it. It's like, shut the fuck up, let him scheme.
Thesaurus shows his ignorance in that battle as well when he does he does a football scheme again, doesn't he? Peter Crouch, all that sort of stuff. And then Thesaurus says me and Sharon know that no one in your home country would get that. It's like, well, yeah, but you're in the UK league. This is a global phenomenon. I'm pretty sure that most of the people who are going to watch this battle are going to like that. I don't really know what that punch means.
Yeah, no one people in this country who watch URL. Nobody got the double scheme thing, but they're still gonna watch it.
No. And the more I think about it, the more impressive it is because if I were to do it, I kind of know football. So if I was to do a football scheme, I could probably do it. But if I was a battler who goes over to King of the Dot and I did a hockey scheme, but I don't know anything about hockey, I don't know if Bullets knew anything about football, but you can assume that he probably wasn't the closest follower of it beforehand. It's impressive. It's impressive that he adapted to that. And
it's well tailored.
Yeah. I mean, fair enough. You can get the team sheets of teams. There's a lot of foreign surnames that will probably equip themselves well to schemes. But nonetheless, I remember you showed me that battle, the Bullets. I remember you talking about it for a little while beforehand, and I just kind of didn't watch it. And I remember seeing the little thumbnail of Bullets and Bamalam.
Yeah.
And I was like, who's I knew that they were bringing some people in for 4th birthday, but. Bullets. I mean, it was a great choice on Don't Flop's part. I mean, that's how we discovered him, through Don't Flop and
Oh, it is, yeah. That was the first time I was exposed to Bullets.
And like I said, really, really smart choice on their part. He appeals to the crowd well. He kind of he's not gangster.
No, he's just sort of normal. Like if he was a Pokemon type, he'd be normal.
Yeah, exactly. He'd be an Eevee. Yeah.
He would be an Eevee. Or Geodude.
You love Eevee because you can flip Eevee to Eevee or do an Eevee scheme,
Could you though? do an Eevee scheme?
Not only is it not a Pokemon scheme, it's just Eevee based. It's
you not only have to know Pokemon, you have to be aware of Eevee.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not like a figurehead, like a Pikachu. Like Eevee's fairly
He's
sort
not,
of
yeah, he's not
annoying.
exactly the face of Pokemon, is it? An Eevee.
I think it was gonna be, you know.
Was it?
I might have seen that on a TIL or something. There was something on Reddit about it. What? No, oh no. Wasn't going to be Pikachu. It was going to be Clefairy.
Clefairy.
Yeah.
And I was going to say, no way it could be an
No,
Eevee.
no.
Because like Pikachu battles Onyxes and shit. What they're going to do? Like Eevee use quick attack on an Onyx.
Yeah.
It's just, anyway, we're going off topic.
Yeah, we're going off topic. Well, let's move on to one of the most upsetting moments in battle rap history: BULLETZ versus Arcane.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we watched that together fairly recently. BULLETZ comes incredibly hard. It's kind of sad as well, because if you do watch that video of all BULLETZ's rounds and you see him progress from these small venues to facing Kid Twist, you know, and beating Kid Twist and Sharon, who are great battlers on their own merit, and then I think if he would have beat Arcane, I think he would have went through to the final against Disaster, which
He would have, yeah, he would have, and it would have been fucking great as well. It would have been so good. Like,
do you reckon he had some great stuff lined up?
oh, of
He would have
course.
done like a natural disaster, earthquake, tornado scheme, wouldn't he? That's kind
He
of
would have, yeah.
it's kind of
Like,
too, you know.
the BULLETZ Arcane battle is what the Bamalan BULLETZ battle should have been,
In what sense?
in the sense that, like, well, you know, we just the three. He should have, like, BULLETZ should have came a little bit more personal towards Bamalan, and he basically just shouldn't have choked.
Yeah, I guess with the Bamalan battle, it was more of a he was kind of selling himself rather than trying to move on to a new tournament. I guess it was less tense, but you know, from BULLETZ's die from this match line, you know, in his opening scheme, to his pretty dark personals about the car crash and shit, you know.
Oh, that was a great.
It's
really
great,
really great.
And if you're aware of sort of Arcane's methods and shit, and his sort of, I'm not judging him for doing against family stuff, because everyone fucking does that, you know, whatever.
I don't really get Arcane's, like, show him how it's supposed to be done angle, because he says show him how it's supposed to be done, and then he does their stuff.
Yeah.
So what are you saying? Are you saying that their stuff is the better style?
Yeah.
You just, I get what he's trying to do. He's trying to do their style and show them how easy it is, but it kind of contradicts what he's saying when he says that.
Yeah, and that's a good point as well, because against BULLETZ, every opponent, not every opponent, but a lot of them, including Dirtbag Dan and Arcane, they'll do a scheme of their own to kind of prove that they can do what he can do, but they're never up to scratch. Like, if they were up to scratch, I would say Dirtbag Dan does a clothing scheme. I can't remember off the top of my head what Arcane does. And they're fine. They're fine in the sense where you just sort of taking the vernacular of that subject and attributing it to puns and, you know, witticisms and shit. But it just feels like you can't, there's a certain level that BULLETZ and Chiller have attained in wordplay that's kind of their own almost, you know.
Yeah, it's
If you use that, or if you do a scheme, or, you know, I mean, Thesaurus says to BULLETZ, you know how I know you're gay? Associative wordplay. And it's like, I don't know if you're right, Thesaurus. I don't know if schemes are treated as they don't have merit, which I don't really get.
no, I don't really get that. It's almost like what's better,
Yeah.
really? I mean, multis and stuff, they seem to be the standard.
Yeah.
So, and schemes stick out there a lot more than schemes and wordplay stick out more than anything, really. Any other stuff I've seen.
And just as a quick shout out to DNA, who does one of my favourite schemes against you know, his like vegetable scheme.
Oh, that's great!
Yeah.
I remember I rewatched that, and it's just absolutely
Like,
fantastic. And the flip with his name as well.
Oh, huger.
Huger, yeah.
Oh, that's delicious. Yeah, that's so good.
I didn't see that coming as well, especially since I watched it. I watched the and DNA battle, loved it, but then forgot about it over time. Watched all of his other ones, and then sort of go back to that. And he did lots of just general wordplay, and he did it in his DNA, like, you know, come hard style.
Yeah. And I have to say, that DNA battle is one of the best looking battles ever. it looks awesome. The venue's awesome. The camera was great. I love how behind DNA you see Arsenal, like, you know, who's, and like there's a bit when DNA talks about how he's, you know, this would be like one, you know, Punchland, Gunland Festival or whatever he says, and you see Arsenal in the background like freaking out and shit. It just gets me hyped watching it, man. It's really, really good. And like, and with that DNA scheme, like, you know, he says at the end of the vegetable, like, if my money don't turn up, and it's like he makes turnip sound like gangster. Like
it's like shit. I'm gonna get murked later on with turnip.
Yeah, but it's like, it's kind of like, there's so much slang for a gun. I wouldn't be surprised because I know potato is one. And it's like I wouldn't be surprised if turnip and shit, but.
He does it with like he says like lettuce, turnip, carrot, tomato. I think no, not tomato.
Does the tomato flip, which is all right. Like
it's okay
for a flip for a flip and shit. It's fine in that. But yeah, with the arcane. So I mean, do you think conspiracy? Do you think perhaps Arcane just kind of got it because he's Organic's boy and shit? Or
I think so. Yeah.
I think maybe they. I don't want to say it's rigged, and I don't really know. Obviously, we don't fucking know.
This is of course.
This is completely conjecture. But like, if Organic, as head of King of the Dart, had a choice between having Disaster versus 100 Bullets or Disaster versus Arcane, he probably knew that the Arcane would get more views. You know,
he would have, yeah.
Because Bullets is popular to a certain extent, but he isn't Disaster popular, nor is he Arcane hated, which still gets views.
Yeah, Arcane Bullets thing, I think it was bullshit. Like, Bullets clearly won that. He performed it, didn't have any slip-ups, he had some great angles. Although the Arcane versus Disaster, I kind of got why Arcane won. Yeah. Even though, like, because it's literally just because Disaster went on about the paying for bars thing too long. Yep. And he and it was partially the crowd's fault as well for like just being assholes and not shutting the fuck up. But it's literally just Disaster didn't take another angle. He just kept on going. And he had too much confidence in that angle, thinking that because he semi-proved that Arcane bought bars or whatever, that you know, he'd win by default, and it basically just backfired.
Whenever I think of that battle, I always think of Caustic, and you know his White House line.
Yeah. Oh, that's so funny. That line.
It is really like, and just the way Caustic in his sort of like, you know, his monged out state, he delivers it and shit.
It's like you've pestered a redneck. Isn't it?
Yeah, I know he's from the Bay. I think he's from California, but yeah, he does have that sort of redneck vibe. I quite like Caustic actually.
Yeah,
he's grown on me. Have you seen him versus Definition? It's quite an early don't flop battle.
It's quite. I've seen it on thumbnails and stuff, but I haven't like checked it out really.
Yeah, he has this good line where he's telling his Definition. He's like, "Yo, man, I loved your CD. When I listened to it, I wanted to be deaf." He delivered it far better, but oh fuck, Caustic's got someone in in some upcoming event. It might be Charlie Clips. I don't think it is. Who BattleChat fully endorses the Charlie Clips' shit regime.
Yeah.
Overrated as fuck, man.
He is, yeah.
Horribly overrated, like.
Oh man, what? I don't know, like what.
I'm very happy that the Don't Flop event we're going to, we won't be there for the Sunday where Charlie Clips battles O'Shea, and yet again, I will predict it right now. Charlie Clips will not write a third round, nor will he really take it seriously because he's facing O'Shea, who he won't take seriously. But O'Shea can write, he can perform, he'll break his gangster image down. It'll be a good battle, but it'll be a good battle because O'Shea will come good, I think.
He will, yeah.
You know, I mean, because O'Shea's last battle may have been against Uno Lavas, but I'm pretty sure it was against Blizzard, and I saw that live, and that was a real disappointment. I think it was pretty sort of late on, but yeah, it wasn't great. Wasn't great. O'Shea was fucked basically, and Blizzard was sort of ill prepared and sort of jokey mood, so it wasn't great. But yeah, have you got any more bullet things? I mean, I'm just trying to think of other battles that we haven't mentioned really. He battled a lot of low tier guys before he went up.
He did, yeah. Oh, actually, just remind me. He oh, did you get an email by the way of DF about yeah. I just emailed saying Saturday, basically.
Yeah.
Doing the same. That's all I wanted to say. Really.
Oh, yeah. What was Bullets based?
No, it isn't Bullets based.
I get the
He had a your ticket is invalid scheme.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. All right, it's a all right, yeah, Bullets.
the Porridge.
Porridge. Oh yeah. Yeah, I liked his yeah, I quite liked his.
He has the beer scheme.
Yeah, the booze one. Yeah.
Separate the poor from the rich. He has the Roman numeral scheme, which is really complex and fast. Like, I really like that. Like, you know, if a scheme is received well when the top comment on the video is upvoted an explanation of the scheme.
It is, yeah.
I've seen it on Chiller with his insect scheme.
I've seen it on Chiller with his country scheme.
Yeah, and I love it where the schemed words are in capitals, like or bracket. Yeah,
they're always in.
I love that someone could be so enjoy a scheme so much that they're compelled to type it on the. You know what I mean? They're like,
I get the urge sometimes myself. It's really, even just typing it out and like just reading it. It's like, oh, this is great.
Yeah. Like that's kind of how I feel about B Magic. I actually don't really not that into his battling, really. Like, obviously him against Chiller's pretty good. I just like a transcript because like his punchlines are good and his writing's good and he has lots of little, funny bits that you might miss. And like that would be nice if I'd like actual subtitles on battles.
I know, yeah.
Like not YouTube's, like actual Don't Flop King of the Dot have put subtitles here for, I don't know, if it gets big enough, maybe for the deaf or something, but like if they were there just to sort of guide you through, especially on URL where it's a bit like, do I know this word or is this slang? Like,
Yeah, you often have to make that decision, like this is probably slang.
Yeah, I'm going to zone out for the next 20 seconds because he just mentioned a football player and he's probably going to mention a basketball guy and then there'll be a Don DeMarco and then Charlie Clips. But that was Bullets. So that leaves us with, we've done Don't Flop. We've got URL next. We'll have a quick thing. I don't think we should blow our Chiller load or our DNA load quite yet.
No, there's some good. We'll delve into Chiller because.
Oh God, of course, he never comes up.
Yeah, fuck knows we have a lot to talk about with Chiller.
JC versus Chiller, we can just do 2 hours on that.
Full 2 hours just on that battle. It's gotta be like my favourite battle of all time.
Yeah, it's it's so ridiculous as well. It has like 700,000 views when it should have like 2 million.
It should, yeah. Loads of people say that. Yeah. They said it should be in the millions, this battle. Yeah. And it's not.
I watched it yesterday and I was just looking through the comments when I was listening to it. And yeah, loads, there's one guy like, this is like the greatest battle of all time. Why the hell hasn't it? And like, just in terms of, look, we'll get onto it. We'll get onto it, no doubt. But anyway, this has been a pleasure as ever, Danny.
Yeah, it's been great.
We shall speak next week and we shall discuss a URL guy. We'll decide that close to the date.
Yeah,
anyway, this has been BattleChat, and thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening. Hope you let us know with opinions. Let us know your opinions, what you think, whether you disagree or agree. What is your favourite scheme from Bullets? We'd be like to know that, actually.
And you can email us at battlechatpod@gmail.com, and it's at BattleChat Podcast. And yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. It reminds me, I need to get the logo sorted for that.
Oh yeah, I might try and upload that tonight, maybe.
All right.
See you in a bit, man.
All right, see you in a bit.